Hey everybody, here's 9 tips on how to keep your health in check. Because if you look after your health, it will look after you. Healthcare is a topic that affects everyone from the moment we're born till the day we die. It's important to know that there's things that you can do to keep your body healthy and strong, as well as your mind strong. And that way you can handle any illnesses and injuries that may come along your way. So here's a few ideas that I would consider for you to suggest. Number one, it really comes down to having some sort of personal responsibility. You need to take care or take charge of your own health. You can do this by listening to your body, figuring out what works to you. The older you get, you start to kind of realize that. Because if something does seem wrong, you really need to get on top of it and not ignore it. That leads me into the number 2 tip, which is don't ignore systems, because sometimes if it seems off, it could be off, and it could be something more serious that could get worse if you don't wait. So make sure that you talk to your doctor if something doesn't seem right, because lots of major illnesses can be caught early and therefore be dealt with much more efficiently than if they were dealt with later. In my own personal experience, I ignored several symptoms, and it turned out to be worst case scenario for me, having to have multiple surgeries to solve the problem. Number 3, listen to your doctor. Should be an obvious one, but people don't listen to their doctors all the time. I'll give you an example. A doctor tells you not to smoke, but people still smoke. Your doctors know what they're doing because they've spent nearly at that point, by the time they get out of their training, almost half of their life studying medicine. And something that may seem minor to you, or something that you may not really think is a big deal, could be a big clue for them, and help them solve your problem. Next up, help others understand your condition. As someone with a pre-existing condition myself, a lot of people really didn't understand what it was like when I had a major problem. I didn't feel like going out, for example, because I was in chronic pain. But once I started to help people understand what I was facing, it made coping with everything a lot easier. So make sure to talk to your doctor, talk to your family members, and help them understand what you're going through, because then they can support you better. Next, learn more about a condition that you might have. I brought my situation up earlier, having Crohn's disease. I didn't even know what it was when I was diagnosed when I was 23, and I fought it very hard in my 20s and 30s, and finally have seemed to have got it under control, but it took a lot of education. If you're suffering from chronic diseases like this, or diabetes or heart disease, it's really important that you learn about these conditions so you can better manage them. Next, get support from others, and that could be other support groups, friends or family members, a community group. If you have a certain condition, I know that there are certain support groups for people that are going through that similar condition, and especially with the internet and social media communities out there, you might be able to find somebody to help you and give you some ideas that you can use in your situation. Next up, keep looking for new resources. That can be an app, a website, a new book, a podcast, videos like this one and other ones. I know that we're kind of in information overload, but it's important to do your due diligence and try and find new resources for managing your health. Make sure to also scheduling a regular checkup for your primary care physician. I had mentioned earlier, like if you have an issue, you should probably mention it, which you absolutely should. But also just going to the primary care physician regularly can help get even more of a stop on something that could develop into something worse down the road. I know, for example, I go every two times a year. They draw a lot of blood work. Noticed that my cholesterol was high one time, so I tried to make an adjustment with that. They had tested again 6 months, and it looks like it had worked. It's kind of amazing what happens when you listen to the doctor. A lot of times your health improves. Another way to improve your health, and next on the list would be fighting inactivity. They say sitting is the new smoking, so try and get out there and exercise, move, do as much physical activity that you can. Maybe try doing a new hobby that includes physical activities. Try and get out there and walk, play golf, do some gardening. Try and get 30 minutes of exercise each day, and that will pay off in huge dividends for you down the road, in that it will reduce your risk of heart attack, diabetes, and stroke quite a bit if you're able to exercise nearly every day, or at least 3 to 5 times a week. So in conclusion, make sure to try and have plant a seed in your head that you should really start as you get older. Take a proactive role in managing your health, because you only have one body, and as we start to get older, things start to happen, and that's just a part of the process. But it doesn't mean that it can't be addressed with a little bit of education, a little bit of hard work, and the right professional support. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. If you would like some more tips like this, please consider following our channel, and also check out my book, Retirement Healthcare Secrets, available on Amazon, where it gets into more things like how to find a primary care physician, for example. That's a chapter in there. And also check out our previous video on how to get the most out of your doctor's appointment if you have one coming up. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.